traditional song from Nexus Korea. Today I'll talk about good things about permanent residence in Korea, usual process of getting permanent resident visas in Korea, and finally immigrant investor schemes, which is the name of the Korean government's investment immigration program. First, good things about permanent residency in Korea. There are no restrictions on living, studying, getting jobs, doing business, traveling, trading real estate, and the like. Your accompanying family members also have the same rights as you do. This means potential benefits from advanced academic or business environment in Korea. For example, you can give great help to your children who want to study or do business abroad. In Korea, your children can go to international schools which are established as foreign educational institutions. Many of the graduates from those schools actually enter the world's renowned universities in the US and Europe. And as you may know, Korea is a power economy of cutting-edge technologies and networks. If you or your family members engage in business here in Korea, you will be able to enjoy the so-called Made in Korea brand power in the global market. Of course, you can enjoy all benefits as a resident, such as medical care, multicultural support, and various kinds of government support. You know, Korea's medical technology and public healthcare systems are at a world class. And Korean is already an important language in many fields of the international society. Therefore, learning Korean means growing your valuable assets. And above all, you can live stable daily lives without mental anxiety incurred from the visa problems. Second, usual process of getting permanent residency in Korea. This is a usual case, not for everyone, of getting permanent resident visas in Korea. Many young foreigners choose to stay in Korea with student or working visas in the beginning. For more than 5 years, to change their visa status to F2 resident visa, they try hard to meet the strict requirements. While doing this, they are not allowed to do other activities than permitted. For instance, if you are a student, you cannot make money here. If you are employed, it's not easy to change your job, so you can feel unstable. Then it takes another several years to change the F2 visa to F5 permanent resident visa. And third, immigrant investor schemes. This is the most ideal solution for those who have no time, no academic or professional expertise, but certain amount of wealth. There are no strict conditions such as language ability and income requirements. You can get F2 resident visa usually in 1 or 2 weeks after investment. Then after maintaining the investment for 5 years, you can change your F2 visa to F5 permanent resident visa. There are 2 subcategories. First, immigrant investor scheme for public business. This is a kind of government guaranteed principal return program. You can surely get back your investment principal after 5 years. Second, immigrant investor scheme for real estate. You purchase the minimum required amount of government designated real estate projects. As the owner of this real estate, you can use it for the purpose of your actual residence here in Korea. And if you are lucky enough, you can earn gains from disposal of it after 5 years. It's important to choose the right program for each investor. You need help from trustworthy and experienced professionals. Immigration policies are changeable depending on internal and external circumstances of a country. In most cases, it's easy to immigrate in the early stage of accepting immigrants. As time goes on, when a certain number of immigrants have already arrived as planned, the door to immigrants begins to narrow. Typical examples are the US, Canada, Australia, and Europe. Now, immigrating to those countries is much more difficult than it was 20 years ago. Now, Korea is at an early stage, so to speak, because it's been less than 10 years since it began the immigrant investor schemes in earnest. I think, therefore, It's relatively easy to immigrate to Korea now. It usually takes 1 or 2 weeks after putting money into investment fund or real estate to get a F2 resident visa, which allows every activity in Korea. Although you have to maintain the investment for 5 years to finally get F5 permanent resident visa, it's a great advantage to be able to freely engage in all activities you want, even with just F2 visa. For more information and consulting, please visit our website www.nexus-korea.com. Thank you for watching this video. I'll see you next time. Bye.